That belongs in a museum.
And this is the point where you cross say, please no Harrison Jones! Because that would have just destroyed Thijs at that point.
The Harrison is not there, and all David had for his turn 5 was a shade, and that's shade. If Thijs picks up a whirlwind, he could even clear it.
You still go for this Grim Patron, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
You want to flood the board, put the answers right in your opponent's face, and they need to specifically have the good response, which it looks like he does have a good set of responses, right?
Yeah, he should be able to clear all of it, actually.
With the living roots and the swipe, that actually should be a pretty clean way to remove. But again, that takes Druid's entire turn, and you have a follow-up play as the Warrior to take a board that's, to be honest, even stronger than the Patrons. You have the Shredder and the Frodan Berserker, very threatening stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of why this Patron is able to deal with Druid much better than it used to, right? Because, you know, your Patrons get cleared, now you can actually do something afterward. And as you can see here, this feels good for DTwo to clear this board, but now Thijs is coming back with pretty strong minions here.
Yep, really solid turn from Thijs. He could go for the Frothing Shredder, that would be very efficient. He could also try to like go Grim Patron on Stable Good. Just saw a Broth, so that might actually survive. So Thijs can go for the Patrons right now and attack with the Ghoul.
Look at Thijs, he's nodding there, realizing that was exactly the play that he was expecting there. Just shows how much he's really preparing for this and how much he thinks about every single turn going forward. Didn't just plop down the Frothing and the Shredder like we were saying. Yeah. He really thought through his turn.
Yeah, that worked out well. He didn't know that the Druid was coming to turn 7, which usually means either Lore or Dr. Boom.
Yeah, it looks like DTwo's going to need a lot more than just one big game hunter to deal with these incoming threats. And the best part for Thijs is that he gets to refill his hand with potential follow-up threats. There's one of them, Gromosh Hellscream, with a Whirlwind. So if he can land like all of the damage, that is potentially game-ending damage the following turn.
That's effectively 2 mana sprint right there.
Yeah, the nice thing for DTwo though, he doesn't even need to use the big game hunter. He can go with this Drake and double living roots. So that's pretty good for him here.
That's not what you're expecting though. You saw Wrath, you saw Swipes, but 2 living roots for 3 damage. It's okay though, because I think you know, Thijs was like, oh, he's gonna swipe me. But yeah, the living roots here was an interesting keep as well. That's something that we didn't discuss. DTwo chose to use swipe instead of the living roots hero power, but it ends up not really having too much of a difference, I think.
Yeah, it worked out all right. He could have also, instead of the Wrath, he could have used one of the living roots earlier. He wanted to keep that, and it seemed to kind of pay off.
We're getting into the point of the game where every single turn Thijs has to be worried about combos. So how
to play 2 Savage Roars on a board full of Chargers. Thijs willing to cycle 1 card for Battle Rage. It's one of those things where you want to try to get at least 2.
Oh no! Wow.
That's some bad news for Thijs right now.
Oh my goodness. DTwo can just cycle with that Battle Rage if he's getting low on cards. If Thijs goes for that, that feels so horrible right now.
I mean, it is, but it isn't. Like, what if it's in the case where now, how did your opponent deal with Gromosh very efficiently? He has a big game hunter. That's
he can damage it and VGH it, and yeah, there's the Dr. Boom as well. Though I guess he could play it out right now because DTwo isn't really in danger of dying at any point. This is all the burst that's ever in, you know, a Grim Patron Warrior anyways as Gromosh.
Yeah, now looking at this, I actually like the line from David a little bit more than on the last turn, because how many more minions can Thijs that by first damaging it with either the Keeper of the Grove or the Hero Power? Force of Nature not looking so tempting because of that Lore Walker.
Do you just throw away your Lore Walker here with the Inner Rage?
I don't mind that because you can activate the Dr. Boom and then execute it that way without having to give it to your opponent.
Maybe you give your it looks like he's maybe going to go for just a kill.
Let him die.
Please die, Joe.
Is this the first time in history you hope it rolls 4 on one of your minions?
It is so funny.
Maybe if you have something like something that you want to die with a Death Rattle, perhaps. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think you could actually just go for the Inner Rage and then Battle Rage and then just execute out that that Dr. Boom. It's gonna go for 2 cards here. Looks like.
You want to hear something extremely humorous? Is that Inner Rage actually extends the combo to 16 and makes something really scary for Warrior to worry about. It's like,
That's true,
do I really want to give it to him?
I think you kind of have to though at this point. You'd rather not give your opponent an execute, especially for this Grom.
And Thijs, because he chose a halfway point of not committing to the Battle Rage, he could have drawn an extra card, which could be the difference maker. Although realistically, he's drawn through a lot of cards in his deck, so it could be the point where maybe he doesn't even want to draw another card because he could be close to fatigue.
Yeah, could very well be the case. And it's me, David, ended up with 2 extra cards from that lore worker, Joe. That's so huge.
Takes 2 Ancient of Lores. You have Wild Growth for cycles.
Speaking of which,
Yep, that's the lore.
there we go.
Great pick up for David here.
This might be the last turn that Thijs has to turn around.
Wow.
Luthor not quite gonna turn it around.
This is looking so bad for
I
Thijs.
think he has to cycle it here, play it before attacking with the Death Spite.
Yeah.
Hoping to find
to
a
get
Doctor.
Dr. Boom.
Yeah,
Another chance, perhaps?
shaking his
That's
head.
not it. And he knows this could be this last seconds ticking down of the series. David C has 2 Pilot Shredders and a Wild Growth to even go through with stuff.
I mean, Thijs would rather see a big minion at this point, right? Not 2 Shredders, 2 medium minions that you don't really feel like you want to execute anyway. This is probably the worst board that Thijs could have seen after that last turn.
Probably, yeah.
Almost out of
Almost
cards.
out.
Dr. Boom is
Oh,
last
no.
card, and I think Thijs knows that this is probably it. There's no way for him to win the game.
Even if this is Doomsayer, it doesn't really matter, honestly.
No,
Yeah.
it doesn't, because even with the Doctor Boom, David can use the Force of Nature just to clear it off.
Right.
2 Force of Natures, not enough mana.
Double comp.
Dog is able to upset the European Jam from 2015. He must be ecstatic right now, even though you can't see
Ooh,
his.
there's the Dr. Boom. A little bit too late. unfortunately.
Doomsayer executes.
One more Doomsayer.
Yeah, I think he has to do it.
That's his last chance.
Yeah, it's still not gonna be enough, but good try.
Just go ahead and boom, Whirlwind. It has to specifically land onto the minions.
Oh, got one of them. But yeah, needs to somehow clear them.
Yeah, that's not going to be enough. So this series is over. David C, is this his opportunity to start